Worse.
It is worse.
What's going on, everybody?
We use Discord to chat.
You still sending stuff in here?
Yo,
No,
let's give some love to our PJ Oakley, Armani Oakley. I'm just going to show her video. I'm sorry, not her video, but her picture right here. And we're going to be showing the last People's Gauntlet soon. And she's going to be officially a People's Contender, along with Juan Paredes, Sass, and then Ali Delcimer soon is going to be a People's Contender. And big things coming from People's Gauntlet website. Big things coming. So to our pre-show.
One more time.
Little things stopping.
And you're gonna get the business.
Wait.
Stop, please.
Yo, I didn't even touch the button.
Case, please.
Hey, now that's gonna replace the music.
Yo, for real, I didn't touch it. I didn't mean for it to start. So we'll see
One
what
more
happens.
time, Case.
So wait, you know what? I'm gonna switch back.
Business.
I'm gonna switch back forth real quick because I might have to stop that if it keeps happening. All right, so I go to Armani, and I'm coming back to the pre-show.
One more time.
Oh shoot!
And you're gonna get the business. Stop, please.
Oh man.
All right.
You have it looped to start on source scene switch.
Oh, okay. Help a brother out. All right. So for our people, anybody in the chat yet?
Holly wasn't, but I don't know if she's still in now.
Oh, Holly, you still there?
She said see you soon.
He says see you soon, yeah.
I forgot to put up my chat. See the chat.
All right, well, Fat Joe first.
So tomorrow, Fat Joe versus
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule, yo.
Wait, for real?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting.
Oh, that's a blowout.
Really? Ja Rule. Why would Joe do that?
Yeah, that's a blowout.
Free money.
Free money.
It's murder.
Man, who got it? Who got it? Who you think
Fat
got it?
Joe. Get
Fat
Ja
Joe
Rule,
got it's
get
not
out of
even
here.
in the
it's not
same
even
like
close.
conversation.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's like comparing. That's like
One
comparing
more
to me.
time.
I mean,
And
he's
you're
a-
gonna get the business.
Ja Rule's a meme right now, but
Please.
he had some bangers.
He was singing.
Yo,
He
Bobby,
had some
please.
R&B hits where he was singing in the club over and over. Like, come on.
Yeah, those were popular.
That's what my wife says.
Doesn't-
It's
doesn't
from a woman's perspective, Ja Rule has more hits out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
See?
Anyway, Pookie Woods says gonna be the best verses.
verses.
You know, with
Be the
laughing
best
faces.
murder.
Who said that?
He
That's
was
like-
joking with the laughing faces.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That's like comparing Gabe to me.
Yo.
No, it's not even close. It's not
Hold
even
on.
close.
Exactly. It's not even
It's
close.
not
I
even
know.
close.
We're not in the
Yeah,
same
who got the
conversation.
best hair? Who got the best hair? It's not even close.
Who got the only hair?
It's not even close.
All I
don't know,
gotta say
Gabe. I don't know,
is
Gabe.
Bendone is the MVP because he fixed the issue. So much love, Bendo.
I don't
Don't
know,
it's
Gabe.
always
I'm
fixing
coming for
new
your hair,
issues.
Gabe.
That's what I told him last time too.
All right, so let's
You
talk
too.
about some stuff. Let's start here's the first pre-show tweet. It says, if capitalism is destroying the planet we live on, then it's trying to kill us all, and we all have a right to self-defense.
Oh,
I'm sorry. You fix my phone.
Wait, what?
At this,
It look blurry on my screen.
yeah.
you can see it, or nobody can see it.
We
It
see
look
it's
blurry.
just blurry.
Let me see if I can make it bigger. Sorry. There we go. At this
Yeah.
point, destroying capitalism is self-defense. Change my mind.
Ooh,
That's
stand,
for
stand my
Gabe.
ground. Stand my
That's for
ground.
Gabe, our progressive Republican on the panel.
Change my
We,
mind, Gabe.
we love capitalism. Capitalism is great, but we don't have a capitalist system in this country. We have socialism for the rich, and we have rugged individualism for the poor. So
Do you honestly, and we could maybe save
Yo,
this for the
Bobby,
show, but do you
please.
honestly?
That's for Gabe. That's for Gabe.
First of all, I agree with Kate.
Stop.
Second of all, do you really like at this point? Are you really still a defender of capitalism? Like with everything that it's done to destroy this planet, are you really still
Yes.
a believer in this system?
I don't think that the capitalism has destroyed the system. I think the corruption has destroyed the system. So if you could have capitalism and still have religion and still have and still get money out of politics. And if you do those things, it won't be the death of capitalism. We don't have to be a fully socialist nation, but we can be a Nordic style democratic socialist nation.
Let me
They're not still, those aren't socialist countries. They're capitalist
like to
countries,
say
and they work
that
very well.
Carlito, go ahead. Carlito.
I like to say that when people talk about communism, they can't point to like an example of pure communism because there's always some kind of dictatorship involved. Do we have an example of like pure, like good capitalism? I don't think so.
No.
So in both cases, we never seen the ideal.
In my opinion, I agree with Gabe. But in my opinion, I want 80% socialism and then 20% like a sprinkle of capitalism.
What does that even mean?
So what that means is I would want the majority. So right now, the majority of companies in America, you have a boss or you have an owner who owns, right? I would love to see in America, in my fantasy world, 80% of the businesses would be co-ops. And then 20% would be like a one boss or owner owns the whole thing and making the same, like a decision by himself. That's what I mean.
Why does that? Why even have that 20%? Like, what is the purpose of that?
I think I think there is a benefit to, like, so for example, in Occupy Wall Street, one of the criticism was everyone had to keep coming to consensus. They always had to come to consensus. Always had to do that one mic, and then they had to vote on this, and then like when there are benefits to having one person with a single vision, single purpose, setting the tone and making those decisions. Even when the whole company might not like a certain thing, they can push it. And sometimes there's advantages to that. That's all I'm saying.
Did you go to Florida this past 2 weeks?
And I have gone to Florida in the past.
Maybe
He was in Atlanta.
Maybe you're drinking that Florida water.
Yo, Bobby, please.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I mean, either if you have a single boss, if you have like strong unions, then you get the similar benefits. The thing is that it's always tilted.
Yo, it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Let's get the money. Let's get the money shot.
I have my point left.
Go ahead, Gabe. Put it in.
Yeah, make your point. Make your point real quick, Gabe.
I was just gonna say that we want the America of the 50s and 60s minus the racism. We want higher unions. We want manufacturing in America. We just don't want the racism. If we could get rid of the racism and the Jim Crow from back then and kind of bring some of those principles of unions and building stuff here, I think that would be a good start to what we need to get to. But we got to eliminate the racism because that.
Yeah, we're going to start the show, but that's a good no-call zone. Co-ops are unions. Which one's better? I think co-ops is better. I think they're underrated, but let's get the show started. Bam! Yeah, what's up, everybody? This is CaseStudyQB. Carlito, what happened? What happened, Carlito?
We went back to the short version of the song, man.
You start dancing.
Oh, my bad.
I was just starting to dance, baby.
Yeah, be done. Yo, where's the music? You wasn't ready.
Oh, here we go.
He on vacation. We can't hear it.
We can't hear it.
He's in Florida on vacation. But let's say what's up to our people. Holly Horn is in the chat. Holly.
There we go.
Yeah, Holly Horn. What's going on, buddy? She's in the chat. Pookie Wood. I don't know if you're still out there. Is Chris in the building? Oh, yeah, Chris. I almost missed Chris. Chris is in the chat. Much love to my PJs. What's going on, everybody? We've been on a 2-week hiatus, but we're back. And I'm so looking forward to this show with my guys, with my fellow PJs. And I got a new setup. I had a foot of water in my basement, but my wife and I, we moved everything out, cleaned it up, painted the walls, brought everything back in, and now it looks a lot better. See, Izzy's giving me the thumbs up, and I'm sure my wife is going to tell me later on, thank you for not showing the stairs or showing some part that she was ashamed of. But anyway, let's go around the horn and say what's up to my people. It's been 2 weeks, and it's the 52nd episode. So it's about a year of episodes, a year of PJs. Yo, Carlito, what's going on, baby?
Man, glad to be back. Missed everybody.
Yeah.
Get it popping.
Let's get it going, Gabe.
Oh man, 2 weeks. It feels like 3 months. It was the longest 2 weeks ever. So glad to be back in the saddle.
Let's do it. Izzy, what's going on, my man?
Yeah, happy to be back. I can't believe 52 episodes, a full year. Time is flying. I can't believe it.
I still got technical issues.
Time is flying. Bidone, what's up, my man?
We back.
Back. John.
What's up? 52 weeks of music. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Yeah, so let's get the show started on the road. Now, I got a couple things. We got a couple things coming down the pipe. We got like a way for users, or not users, our family, our PJs they're going to be able to help produce the show that's coming real soon. So just be on the lookout for that. But the first thing, we got a couple things that I want to talk about today. So there's going to be a no-cow zone. I think I might have brought this up before, but I'm really stuck on this. Should Nancy Pelosi be speaker again with the way that she's been fighting for the 3.5 trillion reconciliation? We're going to talk about it. There's going to be some people. I might play devil's advocate. We'll see how that goes. I want to declare right now, Nabisco. Matter of fact, let me show this, and let me make sure that I don't play the intro twice. All right. So Nabisco is on. We going to strike Nabisco because they have their workers working 12 hours a day with less pay. No way. We're not letting it happen. But for this week, maybe for the month, Nabisco gets the corporate death penalty. They going to get it. All right. So that's the first thing. What else we got?
Checking my cookies right now. My cookies, Nabisco cookies.
Yeah.
Last month it was Frito-Lay, right? Now it's Nabisco.
Exactly. So we got some memes of the week. So, Benon, when your meme of the week comes up, you can speak on it. But here's one that says, "We'll do whatever we can to protect your life." And then on the other side, it says, "Now that the baby's born," it says, "Now you're on your own, get a job moocher, etc., etc. You got to get medical insurance." So it just shows you how the Republican mind thinks. So if anybody want to jump in, you could jump in also. All right, here's the meme. Benon, is this the one you want to comment on?
Either all of them are just hilarious, right? Where it's socialism never works, and I can't read it.
Okay, then it says Norway is socialist and they're doing great. But then the other person says they're not socialist, they're capitalist countries with strong welfare policies. Then it says, then let's adopt their policies. Then he says, no, that's socialism. So he can't make up his mind. He just can't make up his mind. And then here's the last one. They're coming here illegally. The other person says, they need our help. The other guy says, we should help Americans first. Well, then let's help Americans. No, that's socialism. I mean, these people cannot make up their minds, man.
That last meme was more related towards us helping the Afghan refugees. It's
sad. It's very sad, the double standard. And then we hear about, speaking of the Afghan, what happened in Afghanistan. You know, when ISIS-K did the attack and they killed the Marines, Biden responded, and now we're finding out that the people that he killed were literally NGOs. Like, they were all innocent people, nothing to do with ISIS-K. Literally, he was bringing cartons of water to his family, and our intelligence said it was like canisters of that can make bombs or something like that. So it's sad to see the type of brutality that we're doing in the name of humanitarianism. So I saw this video, this graphic, and I don't know, I gotta look for the source, but I thought it was interesting nonetheless. It says, we always see those graphs that talks about how America is the top #1 spender of military, and then even more than the next 10 combined. But this says where U.S. police spending ranks among worldwide military expenditures. Our police spend more money than some countries' military combined. Just our police departments, according to this graphic. You guys can see?
It's crazy. Yep.
Yeah, I definitely want to see the source, but
I gotta find a source. Yeah.
But is India really number 3 in defense spending, or is this kind of like skipping a few countries?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is probably skipping. This has to be skipping some stuff. But I gotta look up a
big
source.
Man. They have a lot of. I think they have nuclear weapons maybe too.
Yeah, I think Indian has increased a lot. In the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're trying to get ready to fight Pakistan.
Pakistan, they got beef with Pakistan, definitely. See, now let me see if I'm gonna go back to you guys. I hope I don't have the intro again. Okay, good. Hey, all right, doing well.
All right. And we haven't had music yet.
Yeah. All right. So, I wanted to touch this one in the pre-show. I didn't get a chance to. This was an interesting article that's talking about the Texas laws. But you know what? Maybe we might be able to come back to it. But Carlito, you ready for the Carlitos rundown? You ready, my man?
Let's do this, baby.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Number 1. Heather Bresch, Joe Manchin's daughter, played the direct part in EpiPen price inflation scandal by Ryan Green at The Intercept. So this has been well covered by now. Emails show that she had been colluding with Pfizer to have monopoly on EpiPens and raise the price exponentially over some years. But lately, we have Democrats and progressives going after Joe Manchin by name when it comes to the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, from Katie Porter to Ron Klain, who is Joe Biden's chief of staff. Did this news about his daughter taint him?
Well, he went on what was it, Saturday? Well, it was a Saturday on CNN. Dana Bash show, I think it's a clip case, and he said he's not voting. He's voting no for the 3.5 trillion. So, and I think I was reading somewhere on Twitter, it says, like, if I was Joe Biden or if I was somebody, I would just use this as leverage and would be like, dude, if you don't come through and you vote for this, we're going to go after your daughter. We're going to go hard. And
your daughter,
yeah, because
taken.
You go after her, and then maybe he'll cave or not. But you gotta, with this guy, you gotta play the politics game. So anything goes in Washington. So I would have probably used that as leverage. But he keeps saying he's not going to vote for it.
You know what? I think that might be in the works. Because when you have Pelosi going against Biden, you have Ron Klain going against Biden, against Manchin.
Yeah.
Talking, that's big. You have progressives and Democrats, going against them. That's rare. So I think something's going on, something in the water.
Yeah, but he keeps saying no, right? Because as far as Saturday, he was like no. So
just to give
part of what Manchin is, you can't really him because his term is not going to end until 2025. So he's pretty much stuck in there. We should have got him out last time we had a chance to get him out, but because we didn't, he's gonna keep blocking and blocking. Yeah.
What's interesting is he wants to be governor. Apparently, he wants to leave the Senate and go back to being governor of West Virginia. So that could work negatively against us if he doesn't care about his votes in the Senate anymore. But we need to have some kind of infrastructure in West Virginia, which they are actually building an infrastructure over there, that we could put pressure on him to say, even though you don't want to be in the Senate and you want to become governor again, we still not going to vote for you if you don't vote the right way. So hopefully the pressure can build up, but it's not working so far.
But even his old clip resurfaced when he's talking about infrastructure in all the states, make it 2, 3, 4 trillion. So hey, I think there's a little bit of pressure on him right now, and hopefully that Justice Department has got something on there. And I hate to give deals to crooks like this, like his daughter, but hey, if we could get a lot out of it, I'm cool.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I clipped that George Stephanopoulos. He asked Joe Manchin specifically. He said, "Hey, didn't you say that 4 million was all right?" And 4 trillion, and he skirted the question, like he totally did not answer. And then, of course, George didn't follow up. He did not follow up.
All right, next story. James Simmons, I think it's Simons, Robert Mercer, I heard that name, others are Renaissance to pay up to $7 billion to settle tax probe by Gregory Zuckerman and Richard Rubin at the Wall Street Journal. So current and former executives at hedge fund Renaissance Technologies LLC will personally pay as much as $7 billion in back taxes, interest, and penalties to settle a long-running dispute with the Internal Revenue Service, the firm said. A tax settlement that may be the largest in history. I didn't get to the paywall, so we're going to let John fill us in on this one.
Yeah. This one, it was talking about, like you said, but it's also a lot of it, it was talking about this is the things that the IRS could do if they're properly funded. Yeah, it's big, but it's also is not His only was managed by the family and close friends. He doesn't touch anything else. And they manage about $15 billion. So how long, did it take? I know it's a big fine, but also took them, they probably make that 10 times in fold, right? 7 billion is just probably slapping the wrist, but it's a step forward. They agreed to pay for it. They also mentioned that for some reason they are a supporter of the Democratic Party. They were talking about that in the article, but the board of the hedge fund, they're all about the Republican Party, which all the tax law that's happening. So I agree too. I think even though it's a slap in the wrist, 7 billion. So start going after hedge funds and after all these billionaires. You do that a few times, you got some money there. So I agreed. I think if we fund the IRS the correct way, we could definitely get some money back from all these people that have been avoiding taxes for so long.
Cool. So next story. For cities, big box stores are becoming even more of a terrible deal. By Olivia LaVecchia at the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, ILSR.org. So we know big companies, loopholes, anything they can in order to get all kinds of tax breaks to bring the stores to the towns. But they came up with something else. They're appealing their property taxes so they can lower the total amount they give. So while homes are compared to others in the area in order to assess their value, Lowe's is comparing to other big stores that went under and does have empty sitting buildings or other than just relocated. Because the buildings are designed to be cheap, it's cheaper to leave them behind and build a new one when the stores need to expand. Therefore, the design makes them kind of worthless from the beginning. And the tax tribunal agreed. What the hell is wrong with these people, Izzy?
That's a great question. I think they're finding some loopholes. We were talking about capitalism earlier, right? And how capitalism is great according to Gabe. But no matter what, as long as you're in a capitalist society, you always find these companies that are always going to try and find these loopholes. And they found tax code from I think it was like the 1800s or 1900s, where they could basically, they could compare their currently standing, currently active businesses in these buildings to buildings that have already gone defunct. The business has already left that building, it's no longer in use, and they are somehow able to compare they're doing an appraisal, essentially comparing their currently active business to a business that's already been evacuated, or a building that's already been evacuated after the business is sold. And on top of that, they can add stipulations to say, okay, after we leave this building that we're no longer using, you, the city, are not allowed to use it for one of our competitors for the next 15 years. And this is all legal in the tax code and all exploited because of hashtag capitalism, hashtag Walmart, Lowe's, Amazon, all these big box companies. So it's a real disgrace. They also talk about how, basically because of how far out these big box stores are, there's a lot of, municipal funds that go to, just maintaining the roads to get out there, and the police to get out there, and, the water and all these other municipal, things that the city has to run just to make it out to these rural stores. And that all costs money for the city too. So they're getting less revenue coming in. They're even having to give some of these big box stores refunds on their tax bills, which is insane. Millions of dollars in refunds for back taxes that supposedly they weren't supposed to pay. And then they're depleting the city by using up all their resources too. So it's really disgusting.
Chris in the chat saying probably started here in Florida.
The funny thing is that, so I read that, this is a big problem in Michigan specifically. It was hitting a few states in the Midwest, but other states in the Midwest have been more proactive about trying to prevent this thing from going forward. New York State also has some laws in place as well that prevent them from doing this now. But it's apparently still a really big problem in the Midwest, in Michigan, and specifically the UP, the Upper Peninsula, where it's just much more rural out there, and they're getting more taken advantage of.
This remind me a lot about also to like what sports team be doing to city. They'll build stadiums, and then like 5, 6, 10 years later, they'll be like, "Oh, this stadium is too old. We want a new stadium." And then the city and local folks are getting stuck with all that bill, and then just have something new that they don't even use it for like the community. They just tear it down. And so that kind of, when I was reading the article, remind me a lot about that, what the sport teams be doing.
Look at the Olympics and all the money that gets wasted in infrastructure
Absolutely.
that.
So guys, you guys know me and my fandom with the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, I might think I'm like the biggest fan ever, but I've been called not so much, because one of the things I said was if the Atlanta Hawks were to say like, yeah, we need a new arena or we out, I said peace out, and people are like, what? You're an Atlanta Hawks fan? I said, yeah, whatever. I'll find a new team. I don't care. I mean, I got a lot of clothes I have to sell or something. I don't know, but
yeah, but that's what the Brave did that. Didn't they do that with like what was it, Turner Field?
They moved to
but they moved to another part, but that Turner Field was not that old. Like
it wasn't.
So
luckily it's being used by university for their sports teams.
Yeah.
But they moved to another area, you know, a more affluent area, they said, because the white people there were the ones buying the season tickets. You know, they said that, you know, it was written publicly. So that's crazy, you know. Crazy. But at least the Hawks, when there was time for them to do something, they renovated, and the owner put in some of their own money. They didn't, you know, make the city for the bill. But, you know, they got some side deals to make some developments in the area. So they're getting the money regardless. So I never have any sympathy for the billionaires. But another thing about this story, though, is that those deeds that you were talking about, Izzy, they say things like, yeah, we're not going to sell you this building back to the city to use it for something else, unless you promise that you won't let a competitor go in there. So other companies are using that as a reason to say that the value of the properties are lower because they can't use them as they can't just buy something else. So they use that as a comparable to make it even their own property taxes even lower. So they basically helping each other out. So if Home Depot says, I'm not going to sell a building to Lowe's, Lowe's says, well, that building over there is basically worth zero to us. So when you average it out, our property taxes, when you compare it, it's lower.
Yep. Yeah, it's
crazy.
And they also do a comparison too. I don't know if it was this article or another one that I read, but you know, basically, you know, in some of these cases or many of these cases, this is a net loss for the cities that allow these huge companies in. You know, so thank you AOC for keeping companies like you know, Amazon out of New York, because you know this absolutely can be a net loss for these cities or states or towns, I should say. And then when you compare those to like local businesses, you know, Main Street type businesses that are doing similar types of functions, but just on a much smaller scale, in buildings that are going to stick around forever. You know, they're not these things aren't, you know, Main Street is not disposable, right? Like these big box buildings. So when you compare the two, Main Street brings in a lot of money for the city and a lot of good for the town. And here, you know, you have the opposite. They're coming into your town saying, hey, we're going to bring you all this value, we're going to bring you all these jobs or whatever. But when you really do the math, I mean, you're at a net loss. So just support local, shop local.
That's what's going to happen to Virginia. You know, Amazon headquarters too is coming here, and I think I was reading, I forgot what the number was, like $2 billion is how much they're going to spend just building the office and stuff like that. So we'll see what's going to happen, but I think, you know, they're going to get stuck with it. But
and there's a town next over to me that was actually telling Amazon if they'll move the headquarters here, they'll like name the city after them.
And that's all it's going to take for Amazon to just be like, all right, peace, Atlanta, or who are you saying? Oh, Virginia, John.
Virginia, yeah,
like,
Virginia.
Peace, Virginia. We out. And then who's going to use that building after Amazon?
Well, you know what I mean? Not to defend it, like the building's going to be pretty nice. Like the design, like I don't.
Who can fill it?
No, I don't agree with the whole like how much they get in for it, but like I saw the cool design of it, and it's going to be pretty dope.
Man, so I mean, these towns like this, they never come in here anyway. They're just using them as a way to make the other cities bid against them. Because when they say, well, you're gonna lose New York City, you're not gonna let them come here if you don't give us all these things. And then at the end, they didn't get them, and they still building over there. So they know where they want to be already. They want to go in the New York area. They have the talent. They want to go in the DC, Virginia area where they have all those government contracts. So they're going to go there regardless. They're just pitting cities against each other to lower the prices.
Well, they come in here. The main reason they come in here in Virginia, DC area, is just because of the lobbying that they do. And they just want to have the politician in their pocket. So they just want to be right across the street and, you know, make all those deals and get away with murder, basically.
Of course.
In the chat, PJ Chris, This shows the importance of electing good local officials to serve and enter into these kinds of agreements. Couldn't agree more.
Oh, another quick story. So the same town, they had a Sam's Club. And if you guys remember, there was I remember a couple of years ago with Sam's Club, all of a sudden they just closed a bunch of stores with no warning. Like people were going there and to shop and nothing. And they're like, what's the doors closed? People were going to work and they have a sign in the front door saying that, you know, it's closed. And they were like, wait, I work today, whatever happened? And then the building sat empty for a while. And right now it was being used more recently for a COVID testing facility.
Wow. That's crazy.
Right, last story. San Francisco will begin paying people to not shoot other people by Joe Kukura as safeist.com. The program will be called the Dream Keeper Fellowship, though likely to be dubbed cash for criminals in the media, and will pay select people $300 a month to avoid gun incidents. It was born from SFPD data showing that more than half of all San Francisco gun killings involve the same 12 criminal groups and gangs. The idea is to target those at high risk of being on either end of the shooting with a $300 monthly payment. Subjects could then receive up to $200 extra for other certain milestones, like getting a job interview, complying with probation conditions, or participating in a mentoring program in what surely to be a highly controversial intervention. So why not just arrest those people if they know who they are, Bedon?
That's like this stuff that me and my wife talk about all the time. It's like people in neighborhoods know who the bad guys are, right? It's is it fear? Is the CIA behind this because there's some bigger, you know, scheme behind this? The other piece of it too is it's and again I'm gonna make assumptions, right? It's people that they know or they have in the system, which then talks about how our jail system is not really helping reform these guys if they're going back and becoming repeat offenders. So it brings to question a lot of things, right? Like if the police has all this information, then why are we not arresting them? And then if we are arresting them, what are we doing for reform for them so that they don't go back and repeat the same offenses?
That second part is a lot more intriguing than the first. We can't arrest people that haven't committed a crime yet on the basis they might commit a crime in the future. That's like Minority Report. But the second part is true, is when we do get these people into the criminal justice system, is why are we not rehabilitating instead of just punishing? You know, you get people that come out of jail after serving their time and then they can't get a job, they are homeless, and they end up going back to the same things that put them there in the first place. So we have to shift the focus of the criminal justice system to rehabilitation and even skilling if we can to so that inmates can come, or detainees or whatever the term is, can come out and have a career waiting for them, so that they don't have to go back to those old ways.
Yeah, but so many companies or just, you know, places in general are not even hiring inmates because, you know, they have stipulations that they're not allowed to, or they can, or whatever. So even if, you know, you gave them training, who's actually going to hire them? You know, we don't have any programs that are basically, you know, saying you have to take in former inmates into your company or whatever. You know, like we don't have anything in place for that.
Here's a big idea: is we know that the prisons are the only place where slavery is technically legal, and you get all these people that get all these skills in while they're in prison, and they do manufacturing and things like that. Any company that takes advantage of that should also have to be forced to hire these people when they get out, because if you can take advantage of them while they're in jail, then you should be able to hire them when they're out and they have those skills already. So that's more of like a big idea. Of course, that's never going to happen, or not going to happen anytime soon. But same thing with those inmates that do the firefighting for like $3 a day, and they can't get firefighter jobs after. You know, we have to come up with creative ways to set them up for success after their time served.
Yeah, but
so I don't know if there was ever any change on that one, because with the California firefighter, you know, that was a big thing. They had all those.
I knew it was coming.
That was Case falling asleep on
Here we go, baby.
My bad. I clicked on the wrong scene. My bad. But go ahead,
So
Carlito.
in the chat, Chris is saying this is kind of like rehabbing in the neighborhood. I am not opposed to trying it, especially if they can get mentors for them. So my question to Bedon was kind of like clickbaity devil's art advocate, because when I read the story, at first you see the title and you're like, why you paying these people money not to commit crimes? It's ridiculous. But when you think about it, this program has already happened in 2 other cities in California, and it ended up decreasing hospitalizations and gun crimes. Then you end up saving more money in hospital bills for the people that get shot, and then they don't pay the hospital because they don't have money. And the money that you spend on the people committing the crimes when they go to jail, the money that we're spending there, fiscally conservative speaking, that's a money saver right there. They can spread the word to other possible criminals, to get them off the street, the lure of East Street. You kind of trigger them into coming in, but then have other programs that help them become productive members of society. Because like they said in the story, it's kind of like they bait them in. They said the money's just a bait. They just throw that out there to reel you in. It's the Daily Show interview subject and veteran of the Richmond program, Lavon Carter Jr. You've got to complete the goals that they set up. When you get in, they start to teach you real values that nobody in your life taught you before. So it ends up
basically like we know that crime and violence is, a lot of it is due to poverty, right? So if you give these people money and you give them a chance and an opportunity at a different kind of life, of course it's going to work, right? I mean, Chris in the chat called it is like a paid internship. It's not too much different than that. Or even if you want to think of it like this, almost like a UBI, like, come in here, reform yourself, get some money for, so that you don't have to live in poverty all day and you don't have anybody to shoot.
And then there's a trickle-down effect too, because if those people, they learn these skills, they learn more values, they learn that the life of crime they were leading is bad, some of them will become mentors to other people coming up without even giving them money. You get to teach other people for free later on.
Good point.
Yeah, and then they go back to like you said, they go back to the neighborhood and just say, we don't need to be like this. We don't need to do these type of things. We could definitely, there is an opportunity out there to do better. And so I think it's a great idea, to be honest. I think, and it's also, that what Bendon said, like, why don't we just put him in jail right away? I'm like, maybe they think it's like prison is not always the answer. So I think it's a great idea.
Chris in the chat said it's like a paid internship. We need skilled labor. And I totally agree. That's a good point. All right, I'm going to play this video real quick, and I'm curious what you all think about this, and if you came to the same conclusion that I did.
But I can tell you, I covered the Bush White House, and I got to know him a little bit, and that was
no sound.
No sound.
I'm gonna fix it right. Yep, I see. I know exactly what went wrong. Okay, Pete, bring it back.
But I can tell you, I covered the Bush White House, and I got to know him a little bit, and that was the man that we all knew. His legacy was and still is, always will be, what happened in the Iraq War. Let's be clear about that. But I think, especially seeing and hearing the reaction to this speech, particularly that line that you just played, that this will now be built into his legacy. And what I mean by that is, what is the biggest void right now in the Republican Party? It is leadership. It is standing up and saying things like that about truth and about what is real and what is right and what is factual. But I can tell you.
Yeah. So
who are the violent extremists you're talking about? The Capitol Hill.
You were
Jesus. All right.
All right. I called at the beginning.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So who are the violent extremists you was talking about?
Nothing. The January 6th, right? So it's January 6th.
Yeah, the context is they had September 11 just passed, and they had a ceremony. George W. Bush, he spoke at it, and he compared 9/11 to the January 6th, insurrection, and he made a comparison. So here, the conclusion that I came to was that mainstream media is continued to try to rehabilitate George W. Bush, when literally up until the insurrection, I would have argued that George W. Bush was still worse. With all the stuff Trump did, I would have argued that George W. Bush was worse than Trump because of the kind of security state that he brought upon us after going to a whole nother country that never even attacked us, as in Iraq, and then bringing on the Homeland Security and a whole bunch of other issues. I would have still argued that George W. Bush was worse. But here we go with the mainstream media just trying to rehabilitate his reputation.
Doesn't it sound very similar to, oh, Trump looks very presidential today. Oh, he gave this
Yeah.
one speech where
Yeah.
he didn't sound like a complete moron for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's very presidential today. I mean, that's basically what I was feeling like when she was talking about that.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy had okay, you had your little spiel about his legacy, but can we please remember this dude's legacy? I mean, I don't think I go as far as Case to say that he's worse than Trump, but still, I mean, nothing about this guy is redeemable. Don't even. The fact that even comes out of her mouth, Dana Bash, like she's.
The Republican Party needs leadership.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. What you guys think about this right here that I'm going to show? I'm curious your opinion.
The music again coming?
No. Marijuana use soars among college students while alcohol use drops. So this could be a no cow zone discussion, but Dave, was that you? You want to jump in here?
Yeah, I can jump in. I as somebody who's a not smoker, but very much in favor of marijuana legalization, I could see this making sense because one, alcohol is very, very expensive. And also we all know the health consequences of alcohol. So I could see this becoming a case and it's more, and it just shows that we should push for more marijuana legalization federally, and that would be a nice little icing on the cake from Joe Biden, either at the end of this presidency, because it's such a popular position. It has almost 70%, if not more, of support. So we have to just get that done. It's an easy win for Joe Biden. That's not going to get that much backlash.
Let me ask you a quick question, Gabe. Do you think he should do that sometime before the midterm elections to see if that would boost up the Democrats? What do you think?
I think it should be done before 2024. I think that if you want to get the youth out to vote, which is usually the hardest thing to get out, probably one way that you're going to get people out. And I think 2024 is going to be probably more critical than 2022. 2022, I have the feeling the Democrats are going to lose seats, but 2024 is really the danger of getting somebody like Trump back in. And we don't want to go back another 8 years by getting that, either a Trump or even worse than Trump, Ron DeSantis. I think that would be a nice easy win for Joe Biden to get some public support. And we know it's popular in Florida. It passed, and Florida is one of the most conservative states, and it passed here with over 2/3 of the vote on ballot initiative. So it's something that the people are in favor of, regardless of party.
Interesting.
Would you say there's any correlation between people going more into marijuana now that it's legalized in more places versus having underground sessions? Because I think at the end of the day, one of the things that has always been at least popular is the need for more mental health services for students in higher education, right? So
I think that's more not for the younger kids. I think that's for the older people that were all, kind of buttoned up about it and using the Mary Jane or the reefer.
I mean,
and now because the older people starting to use it too.
It's interesting to hear, and because again, at least with some of the stuff in Connecticut, there's always been a big push, at least for UConn. Like, why haven't you increased or put more money into mental health services? Like, we want more help. Yeah, all the staff is booked up, right? So the next appointment that I can get is not till 2 months from now, right? So what am I gonna do? If I'm a college student, I'm gonna self-medicate. Before it was alcohol, right? I was gonna get a fake ID and go through that route through friends. But now that in certain cases it's legal, and I'm using Connecticut as an example because of the state I'm in. But if I'm in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, where it's all legal, I can just go there, get stuff, and come back. So I don't have to worry about, alcohol. I could just get high.
Yeah, and anything to reduce drunk driving too. At least from my perspective, that's a big one. How many people get killed every year drunk driving? So obviously you can still, you shouldn't be driving high, but at the same time, I think I don't know that we have set numbers on this yet, but I'm assuming that a lot fewer people are going to be dying on the roads from weed than they are from alcohol.
And, something kind of sort of related. I was listening to an interview with Immortal Technique. Now he's a rapper from the BX. He Peruvian too.
Yeah.
He was talking about how in a lot of places, especially in California, he was talking to people. The people running this like dispensaries and stuff like that, they're connected to law enforcement somehow. And I found that at first I was like, what? Like, why? I thought it was some kind of backroom deals, or because the people that were being suffering the most are not the people that are starting these businesses. A lot of them are still in jail when they shouldn't be. But he was saying that in the neighborhoods where these dispensaries are taking out the illegal drugs out, if somebody comes and tries to check them down and like, hey, you're selling in this gang's area, you're like, what's up? You got to pay up, protection. And they'll come back and say, okay, I'll come back and introduce you to the CEO, who is a former head of narcotics at the police department. You want to talk to him? And they'll be like, okay, nah, you're good.
Interesting. John, real quick. So I think you kind of made a little face when I was talking about the drunk driving stuff. Like, do you know of any statistics that prove me wrong? Because I may be wrong. I'm just,
No. I just think I don't think there's enough data out there. I was trying to actually search for it to see if there was not, but I think that and I'm not a smoker, I'm not a drinker, so I wouldn't know like what the effect of it. But I think people do crazy stuff when they're high, right? Some people react differently, so I don't think that it's gonna be low. High, it would be interesting to see. So I was like, I don't know if it's like I definitely will go.
Well, there is data out there, John, and that's one of the things that Immortal Technique was talking about in an interview. He started as a rapper, but now he's like a motivational speaker and an activist for a lot of these causes. And he was talking about that specifically. People driving under the influence of marijuana is like non-existent compared to alcohol.
Okay, so there you go. So then, but I'll do some more research. I would love to see some of that. But yeah,
it's not zero. It's not zero, but it's like by comparison, it's not.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the chat real quick, and then I'm going to go to some quick tweets, and then we're going to go to No Cow Zone. So Chris said, Case Study QB, you agree. So I'm thinking you agree when I said that Bush was worse than Trump. I think that was in regards to that. Pookie said the insurrection was bad, but not worth the millions of lives killed in the Middle East. So I think he's also agreeing with Bush is worse than Trump.
Just to be clear, I don't mean to interrupt, but I agree with that. Like, I'm not comparing January 6th to Iraq, of course. So yeah, go ahead, Case.
Good. Chris said, I think Florida is going to be voting out a lot of Democrats' death sentence DeSantis.
That's
The census.
I hope so. I hope we can get them out
5 times fast.
I know, right? But she said that there's 300,000 more registered Democrats. So why is he even governor in the first place? Like, what's going on, boy?
But don't come out. They register for the presidential election, and then they don't come out for the midterms, and then
kill them too.
They lost after that.
I wonder how many of those are Cuban that actually register Democrats and they just vote Republicans.
Not many.
So, and who else we got here? I think that's pretty much it.
When they were saying, when John said he's not a drinker or a smoker, somebody who shall remain nameless said he's a steroid user.
Oh, ouch!
Steroid rage.
Where's the love? All right, so let's go to some tweets real quick. And so this tweet was a funny one that I bookmarked from Independent Speaker. Much love to Independent Speaker. If they get internet in West Virginia, there will not be a Joe Manchin.
Damn.
I hope so.
So many levels to that. So many levels.
I hope so. I know the shade, but I hope we can get Joe Manchin out at any cost. But we'll see what
That's
happens.
why he don't want infrastructure over there.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. And then let's see what else we got here. So here's Robert Rice said Apple just banned its employees from talking about pay equity on Slack a week after giving its CEO Tim Cook a $750 million bonus. Need I say more? Gabe, you have anything to say about that? Our Mac representative.
Yeah.
Apple representative.
Apple is slacking in the last couple episodes. They are not holding it down and just stopping people from talking about something so simple. Not even unionizing or nothing. Just talking about pay equity and Slack like that. That's preposterous. It causes more when you do things like that. It causes more negative publicity than even the letting them talk would have. You let them talk and it'll probably not come out, nothing come out of it. But now you're just inspiring them to do more. Yeah,
it's the Streisand effect, when you bring something.
It's not going well for you, Gabe, and Apple.
Yeah. I don't know if it do more worse, Gabe, though, because what they're afraid, and a lot of companies ban this, is people started talking openly about their salaries. Because then people start comparing, and then why this person getting more, and
I believe it's illegal to ban that, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've read, that you can't really ban people from mentioning it. Banning people from talking about their salaries. I've heard that, but you know how it is. A lot of things you read in a meme or something like that, and it's not true. But
I was thinking. So let's talk about that real quick. Do you guys think that should be a policy that you should be able to know what other people in your company makes? What do you guys think?
Well, I don't know if I have a policy, but they shouldn't ban it. But because we know for sure that normally every time you bring somebody from the outside, they're always getting paid most more than that person that they didn't even want to promote, because they only want to give you that American standard of 3.5% raise. So that's what people end up doing, leaving. So then now, on top of not wanting to pay you, they bring somebody in and they making $10,000-$15,000 more than you, and you're doing more work than them. So I don't know if it's a policy should be but they should not ban it. People want to openly talk about it and start to really start saying oh wow, you're making this much and I'm doing all this and I want to get paid too.
Yeah,
I think it totally should be. Oh, go ahead, Izzy.
No, you go ahead, Gabe.
I was just gonna say that I think it's a policy that definitely should be enacted federally, of having public, at least for job titles and posting salary bands, where you could say maybe not the exact to the dollar, but at least knowing that if you have this title at a company, you're making between X and X, and having that range be pretty reasonable within $10,000, so that people know that they're not drastically far off.
This already the public money is the federal money is public.
It's public.
Yep. It should. I think it should be everywhere.
Izzy, go ahead.
We know that that's abused.
Yeah, I was just gonna say exactly that. That federal jobs all have their their incomes posted, which I would I'd be interested to see what the what kind of benefit that has on the employees of the federal government. Jordan Ryan in the chat also says absolutely public knowledge. There are many studies into this. I wonder what those studies say. And me personally, I'm saying that. He says it's illegal to keep it secret, or they say it's illegal to keep it secret in most of the first world countries.
I think it's more frowned upon water cooler conversation than anything else. It's one of those things where it's you don't talk about religion at work type of
but why not put it out there? It's only going to help everyone. Well, it's going to help employees. It's not going to help the employer. That's the big thing.
It was funny you bring this up, because there was something on Twitter the other day that was talking about as a new employee coming in, don't be afraid to talk about what you got from your job, because it could leverage the other employees to get their money's worth, right? Because they could go back as a collective and say, hey, you just paid Joe Schmo this, why am I why is my worth not the same?
Exactly why they don't want it.
I think we can all agree that it's definitely going to increase the pay of employees overall, because people will be looking at other people's salaries and saying, hey, I need a raise.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate time. All right. So we know supply and demand. People getting paid this much, then you need to fill some positions. Salaries went up. It's hard to get certain people, certain positions. You have to pay more than what you pay them, the people now that you're already paying, right? You bring them in, you pay them more, all hell breaks loose, right? Because everybody's like, how come I don't get paid this and that? Whatever, fine. the other side, demand goes down. Who's going to give up some money?
Interesting.
Wait, what do you mean?
The
demand
company
goes-
Like
already
if
gets rid of
somebody-
people. When demand goes down, they're laying off people. So that doesn't really make sense. The companies definitely control when demand goes down, and they do that with layoffs.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
good
ain't nobody-
companies. What good companies
All right.
do
I'm
is
just
they
playing
get the
devil's advocate.
whole.
You know, I'm all for
Yeah,
whatever.
this last point I'm gonna make, and then we move on. That good companies like a mom and pop shop will get all the employees in the huddle and say, "Hey, look, this is where the company's at, and you know, I don't want to let anybody go, but if we all take a 10% shave for the next year or two until we back in action, are you guys down with that?" So now you
Yeah,
don't have to
man.
get rid of anybody. What's up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen bad things over there, man. Like firsthand.
Yeah, but
You
I seen
know.
it. I seen it with company that they were doing COVID. They told their employee like, "Hey, take a $10,000 pay cut or 10%, and you know when we get out of this, and they have record profit.
See,
and they
so that's a
like,
problem.
and they giving their employees like nothing. They like, I mean, their manager up, the upper executive, they getting paid, and they're like, oh well, but the company's still not doing great. You know, it's COVID, we're still having all this stuff, and they're working you longer for a 10% cut. So
Yeah. You know what that
The
reminds me
company
of?
that I was at before, they
Go ahead.
did, you know, that asking for pay cut. Before I got there, they were doing that. Then things kind of stabilized. But then eventually the company sold, and they never returned money to the people. They never raised, you know, give them like some options or into the new company or bonus, nothing like that.
and they sold for a record profit probably.
That reminds me of the airline industry. Remember when 9/11 first happened and nobody was going to, you know, flying on airlines, and then also another situation happened where the price of gas went all the way up. I remember under George W. Bush, it was like $5 a gallon. And they said, okay, we're going to be charging for, you know, to put your bags underneath the plane. They started charging for that. They started doing all these extra fees. And now they're in a very good position. Well, not with COVID, but before that. And they never put the prices back, you know, put things back to normal.
Hashtag capitalism.
That's how
Now
it works.
they put more seats, more squeeze you in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
less
like-
benefits.
Exactly.
They're like,
If
you
you
gotta
get a
pay
bottle
for a
of water.
middle seat. Before they'll give you a middle seat for free. Now that middle seat is $53. Like,
And your pillows, you used to get pillow and a blanket for free, and now they charge you.
Headphones. Yep.
Headphones, all that stuff. And I would love to have high speed rail in America. That Hyperloop. That if we could get the Hyperloop, that would put us ahead of all the other countries, because that's not even invented yet. That's like still coming to fruition. And that would be competition to the airlines, but they not, you know, the lobbyists.
but that thing, the only way that thing will probably work if it's like a good government agency that could run it. That's not going to be like I went to Germany once, and it was like, I told my friend, I was like, hey, when do I buy this ticket? Do I buy it now? He's like, nah, dude, it's like, it's $50 from this place to this place. Doesn't matter if you buy it the day off or if you buy it 6 months in advance. Like, go try to buy a ticket in Amtrak today to go to New York. You're going to pay $500 to try to get there. So it's like, you know, things like that. It just doesn't make sense sometimes. It's the same distance. You should be able to find ways to know, okay, my capacity is 500 people here. Once I sell 500 ticket, they need to wait till the next one, and not make it so crazy. Like, oh, if you buy 3 months in advance, it's $40. But if you need to go 2 weeks in advance, it's $350.
But you know what happens in hashtag capitalism is that if somebody like Amtrak is starting making headway, making things affordable and efficient, people in the airline industry are going to lobby to destroy them. Like, don't give them the funding to fix their lines or whatever. Don't let them expand to new areas, because, you know, that's competition.
Yeah. All right. So the next tweet here, I got to give a shout out to Brianna Joy Gray, because she retweeted. I had a new promo that I put out there showing love to all my left leaders out there. And I just thought it was funny. She put, if you're not already following Case Study QB, today's the day. Matter of fact, she got me more followers than I ever had from anybody else. It was like 400 new followers. And then this person put, go away. What?
I did see that one.
Horatio.
Now you put that on this show. I'm like, yeah, I do remember some random person saying
Yeah, I was wondering, like, why you putting that on screen?
But
No way.
I just thought it was so crazy because this person follows Brianna Joy Gray. And he's saying go away, but he's following her. Like how?
This-
That's
These
those
people-
hate follows.
yeah, man.
Yeah. So here's another tweet. It says Bernie Sanders should be forced to give away 90% of his birthday cake on Bernie's birthday. His birthday. Happy birthday, Bernie! By the way, his birthday just passed. And then this person said, "This is how birthday cakes work when you have friends."
Yeah,
That's
duh.
glorious. That's amazing.
Self-owned. He just got self-owned. So,
Oh, man.
I like that.
all right. So we got like, what, 7 minutes left. Let's go to the no-cow zone. I'm bringing it up. Guys are going to cancel me, but I know it's all right. I really want to test the waters. Should Nancy Pelosi be Speaker of the House again?
Who's
And
gonna cancel you? Nobody's gonna cancel you for that unless you say yes.
look, Izzy just
Wow.
canceled me. Izzy
Just wait.
canceled me.
Just wait.
I know, right? All right. But so
Oh
the
my
question
God.
is, should Nancy Pelosi be Speaker of the House again? Is she malleable, meaning that with the strength of the progressives, apparently there's some strength there because only Jim Clyburn has recently come out and said, "Oh yeah, we could go under 3.5. We can, bring it down to 2.2 trillion." And he's the only person that's kind of selling us out. But Nancy Pelosi has been trying her best. As far as we can tell from the articles, behind the scenes stuff, she's been threatening the House Democrats who are trying to, make this bill not go through.
This is a
What you guys think?
unanswerable question for me because the
What you
only
guys
thing
think?
I'll ask next is, what's the alternative?
Yeah, what is the alternative?
No,
I mean,
Good.
Kamala
I wanna
Harris-
I'll say
wanna-
no.
I want to
don't
hear
want her there,
Buttigieg.
but
I want to hear
I don't-
Case answer though. I want to hear Case. Is it a yes or no for you?
for me,
This
for
is
what?
where this is where we're gonna cancel you. I think.
For what? If she should
Yeah.
be, Speaker of the House again?
Yeah.
I would say this because, and I'm gonna go in Carlito's direction for a second, where you say who's the alternative,
No question.
right? So wait, let me finish.
He's pulling a Joe Manchin. He's pulling a Joe Manchin.
Mama Bear.
Talk about the taxes. Talk about the taxes.
So the question is, who will replace her? So the person that I would want to replace her, and people might disagree. A lot of people probably would disagree. The Fraud Squad people are going to disagree. Where I'll say Pramila Jayapal, I would love to see her in the speaker's seat. She's currently the Progressive Caucus chair, right? Would moderates vote for her? I doubt it. So with Nancy Pelosi almost acting as a progressive chair in the way she is, if she could get 3.5, let me put this out there. If she could get the $3.5 trillion pass, I might give her a vote.
No, you're not serious. I don't believe you.
$3.5 trillion pass. I would be like, hey, that's impressive. Nobody would be impressed by that. Nobody.
And
much
that's
water-
how. And that's
how much-
how they keep us losing.
How much
Yeah.
Because
water
we
do you
need
drink in
10 and we're
Florida?
happy with 3.5.
It's always who's the alternative because
How much
I
water?
was getting people mad with my dislike of Obama, and then we got Trump. I would take Obama right now.
Well, absolutely. But the thing is, can you really
That
see
hurts
us
me.
getting?
I hear you, Carlito, but that hurts. That hurts me.
But we also gonna be here like we're gonna always be like, well, what's the alternative? Well, what's the alternative? Like you don't know what you don't know. There's got to be somebody out there.
I mean, there
It's
are
just-
people, but they got to run. They're afraid to run or something.
What
You know,
happened last time?
Exactly.
All right,
There's nobody running against her.
I'm gonna put
You
out
give
some
me
names out
somebody,
there.
give me on the left. I'll take them over her any day.
Ro
Give me
Khanna.
Barbara Lee.
Robert Lee. Ro Khanna. What you guys think about Ro Khanna? People don't like Ro Khanna either. There's some people that don't like Ro Khanna. And
Well, I
he
think at
gets
this point,
along.
we'll
Go ahead.
We'll take anybody to the left of Pelosi, but I guess to Carlito on your point, Case, like, okay, I get what you're saying. Who's gonna run against her? But like, what's the alternative? Like, can it really be worse than Pelosi? Is anybody really gonna elect someone to the right of her? I mean, I
Hakeem
guess
Really be worse
Jeffries.
than Hillary?
It's Hakeem Jeffries worse.
no, but we're talking in the same party though.
Izzy is Hakeem. This is a legit person. This is the person they're grooming to be the next speaker before Crowley. Hakeem Jeffries.
But isn't he at least trying to act progressive, even though we know he's not?
Yeah, he is. But
I mean,
that
I
dude's a
gotta,
snake,
I gotta
though.
guess he's like at least like maybe 1% left of Pelosi, at least. You know what I
Listen,
think?
if it's somebody that's like the same as Pelosi, I'll vote for them just to get her out, just to at least show her that to bounce.
Okay, but then the next 2 years, you're not doing much progressive stuff.
I'll do as much as it will with Nancy. If it's somebody that's like a lot worse, if we have like the equivalent of a McCarthy or something, I don't know.
So let's go with Hakeem Jeffries. Let's go with somebody that seriously could be the
Yeah, I'll
speaker.
take Jeffries.
I think that would be interesting. See, by the way, audience, anybody watching this is no call zone. This is what it's all about. You're gonna hate. You might hate our takes.
Want to get canceled.
And then you got John.
Disclaimer.
This is the disclaimer. This is hard discussions.
He doesn't want to get canceled.
So I think Carlito, did I cut you
questions?
Off? Carlito,
Like,
I'm
yes or
sorry.
no?
Who was talking? I didn't mean to cut somebody off. Who was talking? Carlito.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
But Hakeem Jeffries, all right. Can we push him? This is the thing. We got to talk about strategy. Who is the most amendable or malleable is the word I'm looking for? Who can be pushed the easiest? So, for example, if we have Joe Biden, right? Everybody doesn't like Joe Biden here. Everybody's not a Joe Biden fan. Some people voted for him, some people didn't, whatever, right? But would you want Joe Biden or would you want Mike Bloomberg? Right? I'd rather want Joe Biden. Mike Bloomberg is not even thinking about 3.5 trillion. That's not even a question. He over there with 500 billion. He not even doing the $1 trillion bipartisan bill, right?
But I don't. Yeah, you're right. But how does that equate to this discussion though? Like, how does that equate to the House? Who's Bloomberg?
Okay.
Deflection.
No, I'm not deflecting. I'm trying to make a point as far as there are levels to this. That's my point.
Yeah,
Pelosi just talking about the 3.5, so they don't talk about all her inside trading that she be doing. So
Yeah.
So they don't talk about her freezer, her ice cream freezer.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's why I like Cuomo so much lately. When he was afraid, he was doing good things.
Yeah. Yo, let's go to the chat. I see Pookie Woods said I picked Pelosi over Mike Pence. That's a no brainer. All right. Clyburn and like-minded Democrats won't. Obama is so whack. I know. I hear you. You giving Pelosi way too much credit. Yo, so I want some feedback from my audience. Yeah, definitely. So I'm giving Pelosi. So I'm not giving her credit yet. Let me just be clear. If she gets it passed, and yes, I have to agree that Bernie had a lot to do with that 3.5. He came in hard with the 6 trillion, and then they whittled it down to 3.5. If they could get it passed, you got to give Bernie probably the majority of the credit because he's out there right now saying, hey, we might not get anything. I was very impressed.
But that wasn't the question. The question was, will you support Pelosi being the Speaker of the House again? So you're saying it was a yes or no, and you're trying to just like...
See, that's when people try to get people with yes or no, black and white questions where there's no answer like that, and then you clip it and they cancel.
That's
Well,
what
you don't
happens.
want to clip it like he'd be clipping me for click.
That is true.
That's what happens. That's what
We're
happens.
getting called out left and right. Listen, Case, we know you're trying to play devil's advocate. I don't know if you really mean what you're saying right now. I get your point.
So wait, okay. What would you guys do? I'm canceled. Put the XO on my screen.
Drink in Florida.
Yo, put the. All right, I'm canceled.
Water.
All right,
I'm
so this is the
canceled.
question then. Let me switch it.
Somebody else answer this
Pelosi
question.
over anybody. Like, you take anybody over Pelosi? Is that what you're saying? John or Gabe? Or you too, Izzy?
Yeah, come on, guys.
You take Pelosi over anybody? I mean, you take anybody else over Pelosi?
I mean, I'm just trying to think of who the alternatives are. Like, there's no way Manchin is gonna. Well, no, Manchin Senate, but there's no way someone like a Manchin is gonna get voted into her seat, right? Like, it's not gonna be uber conservative that gets voted into the seat.
Nah,
I can't see that
it
happening.
might be Hakeem Jeffries. Seriously.
And
So
so-
let me
and so
pose that to you, Izzy. Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi?
That's where I feel like, I in my opinion, they're essentially the same person. Like, they're essentially going to do the same job. Hakeem Jeffries might have one policy that's further left of Nancy Pelosi, but they're essentially going to do the same job. But then that's where I'm with Carlito. At least get him in there to get her out.
Okay, I agree.
That's,
I think
so
I like that.
I would still choose him.
You might have convinced me.
Okay, let me throw a curveball, Izzy.
Yeah.
Because, we talked, Case was talking about malleable. Jeffries is brand new. He's going to be there for a long time. Pelosi probably in retirement. Who is gonna be more likely to say like, whatever? I'm not running again. I could just do this and be out.
I don't know
Jeffries,
if I've been. I don't know if I've been playing too much Tomb Raider lately, but I feel like Nancy Pelosi is immortal. She's one of these characters from one of these damn video games. She is never gonna die. She's gonna be there forever. I hear you. Jeffries is a lot younger, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I still rather have Jeffries just to switch it up, just to
I'd
get
rather
out of
Jeffrey
her
because she's
freaking.
not gonna have the power that she's gonna have, and if you continue to increase the number of progressive in the House, then you may have more leverage. Whereas like with them, she just send them on timeout. Like, go there to the wall. I'll talk to you when I want to talk to you, and then forget about it. And she does whatever she wants. She loses. No. Like, you are the leadership, right? The leadership goes in. You lose seats in things that you're supposed to be like. You're supposed to win those seats. So you can't just always be like, okay, well, when we do great, it's me. But when we do bad, we're gonna blame the left. Like, you, the leadership, you lost tons of seat, and you get rewarded by just going there. Same thing with Chuck Schumer. It's the same thing. Like, even though he's pushing for all this and stuff for that, like, you can't continue to like reward. So
Pelosi or Jeffries?
I would pick Jeffrey.
Gabe.
Pelosi.
Gabe.
Jeffries. Anybody except Pelosi.
Anybody. Man, I'm gonna have to start Googling people. Who are the Democrats that voted for
The
there was some
Oregon
that
guy.
voted
The
in
Oregon guy.
the commission.
Who's the guy that keeps telling
Kurt Schrader. You want somebody that voted not to count the votes, not to elect Biden.
He's pro-life too. I think he's pro-life.
Oh, hell no.
Anti-choice.
Pelosi.
We didn't even talk about Texas, right?
Yeah, so all right, it's 9:04. I hope you enjoyed that hard discussion. I know I'm canceled. I hope nobody's watching this out of my left leaders that I get canceled from going on all the shows now.
We don't do any more on this next interview case.
I can't promote the People's Gauntlet.
But don't. I need you to help me learn how to click some stuff so I could start putting on Twitter.
One more time.
That's what.
And you're gonna get the business. Stop, please.
That's for John right there. All right, let's go to the chat as we end the show. Anything? Let's see what's going on. Oh, Holly Horn. I thought she said she was retiring after. So that's what I heard.
How many
too.
times has she said that?
She
said that before. I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
she said she was that. She did say that this was her last turn as speaker.
I mean, had she said that before that she was going to retire?
As speaker, just make sure. Not she could still run and be a House member, but as speaker, she made a deal that this would be her last speakership. So we'll see what happens with that. Holly Horn, you didn't jump in there, Holly Horn. I really value your opinion. Did you cancel me, Holly? Let me know, because I know
he's worried now.
Yeah, I want to know people's opinion. Holly Horn left the chat.
Holly's no longer here.
So let's see. Chris said
she just tweeted you, go away.
It's not just malleable, it's will they support progressive movement? That's what PJ Chris said. Let's see. Pookie Wood over. Let me see. Holly has left. Damn. Yo, when I first read that, I thought that was an official like notice. Yo, for real quick. For a quick second. All right. Anything else, guys? Anything else in the chat?
Just that you should put a little disclaimer when you edit this clip. Be like, Case does not actually have these views. This is just a no calzone topic.
Holly said no cancel for you. There you go.
Much love. Oh, PJ Holly, much love to you. All right, you guys could have been anywhere in the world. I hope you enjoyed us coming back after 2 weeks. I had fun as usual. Love my guys. Love my PJ. It's in the chat. Let me go around the horn. Any last words? Carlito.
Go Hawks, baby.
Gabe.
F Texas.
Izzy.
Damn, I second Gabe on that one.
Bindone.
Phase up.
John.
When you go to Florida, don't drink their water.
Yeah, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, getting canceled with Case. That's the new name of the show.
Canceled with Case.
Much love to everybody.
That's the offshoot.
Much love. Let's give some love to our As we get out of here,
Hey,
give some
Chris
love.
with the super chat. Thank you.
Yeah, let me see. Thanks for the super chat. Also, thanks to our Patreon members, Pedro Hernandez and Nancy Venture. Thank you so much. And I gotta give love to our PJ one more time. Amani Oakley is running. Give us some coins. Much love, everybody. Adios.